This is Caden Roman, and this is Mechatronics Meki 357 Assignment 3. Today, we're going to be creating a circuit that turns on and off an LED with the press of a button that adjusts the brightness with a potentiometer. When the brightness is at its max, the serial monitor is going to display I love Mechatronics, and when the brightness is at its minimum, the serial monitor is going to display I love Mechatronics, even in the dark. Okay, I'm going to be going over the code. First thing I have here is defining my input pins. The LED pin is in 5, the button pin is in 3, and the potentiometer is in pin 2. These are defining my button states. Here is the baud rate we're going to be running at that I need to set the serial monitor display on to read the output I love Mechatronics. Here we have the digital read, which is basically measuring to see if the button's pressed or not, which is what this is doing. The button's low and the last button stays high. Here is the potentiometer. So if the brightness is between these rates, we're going to read I love Mechatronics. If else, it's going to read I love Mechatronics even in the dark. So 255 is going to be our max, 0 is going to be our minimum, and that is the end of the code. Next, I'm going to upload the code to the breadboard. And as the code uploads, we should see the light turn on. All right. Code uploaded and the light turned on, as you can see. So first things first, when we press this button, the LED will turn off. Press it again, turns on. And then here we have our potentiometer. When it's at its max, the LED is going to shine its brightest, which is at right now. If we turn it the other way, the LED will get dimmer until it turns off completely. And if we look at the serial monitor, go up here, click this icon, set the baud rate to match. We are reading I love Mechatronics. If I come back here and I turn the potentiometer all the way back down so that the light is off, we get I love Mechatronics even in the dark. Even if the button is pressed all the way up here, the potentiometer is all the way up, the LED's on, and we press the button, this is going to stop even if I turn the potentiometer. It stops displaying, but if I press the button again, it goes right back to displaying. Okay, for part 2 of our assignment, we are to set up a circuit that has 4 buttons. The first button turns a red LED on and off. The second button turns blue and green on and off. Button 3 turns all the LEDs off, and button D will change their brightness levels. So here's my breadboard setup. I have button 1, 2, 3, and 4. I have the LEDs here with a resistor into the ground. We have our LED inputs here in the 4 for red, 5 for blue, 6 for green. And our button inputs. So I have each of these bottom pins going into ground. And then I have one pin on each of these buttons going into an output over here. I have them going into 1, 2, 42, and 41. So 1 is button 1, 2 is button 2, 42 is button 3, and 41 is button 4. Okay, now we're going to test the buttons. Button 1 should turn the red LED on and off. It's on, off. Button 2 should toggle back and forth between blue and green, and they should never be on at the same time. And the third click should turn them both off. So first one should be blue, then green, and then off. Blue, green, off. Button 3 will turn all 3 LEDs off, whether it's green or blue. And then button 4 will change the brightness. So we're on 100% right now. I press it once, it should go to 25, and again 50, and then again 100. Button 3, once again, we'll turn it off. If we leave this on 25% and we turn it off, when we turn them back on, it's going to remain at 25%, to 50, to 100. Okay, now I'm going to go over the code. First thing we're doing is initializing our buttons and LEDs. My button 1 is in pin 1, button 2 is in 2, 3 is in 42, and 4 is in 41, which is right here. And then my LEDs are in 4, 5, and 6. Right here we are setting our brightness level by creating an array. So as stated earlier, 255 is the max brightness that we can have. And button 4 needs to change them to 25%, 50%, and 100%. So this is going to be 100%. 128 is about 50% of 255, and 64 is about 25% of 255. And what this line is doing here is calling into the array to set our brightness level. So this is 0, this is 1, and this is 2. So we're calling 2 right now, which is going to be max brightness. Next, we're setting the state of our LEDs. We're setting them to false so that they are off whenever we boot up the board. Here's our button inputs and LED outputs. All right, this is where the loop starts. So this is for button 1. It's reading the state. So if the button is off, it's going to read 0. If the button is on, it's going to read the brightness level here. This is button 2. Kind of the same thing going on here. We're reading the state of the buttons. So if blue is off and green is on, then blue will be off. It's the if statement. So if green is on, blue is off. Now, if green is off, then blue is on. In this case, we can never have blue and green running together. But same thing here. If blue reads off, then we're getting 0. Same with green, we're getting 0. If it reads true, we're going to be getting the brightness level. Here's button 3, reading the button states, and they are all set to 0. Notice how this one doesn't have the brightness level and brightness index. It just has 0, because if we're reading false, it's going to 0. There is no true statement here. The purpose of this button is to turn the lights off. And for button 4, we're doing the same thing. We're reading the state of the buttons and then changing the brightness levels. Notice how this one doesn't have 0 in it because we're not setting the brightness to 0%, just what is up in this array up here at 25%, 50%, and 100%.